So we have been thinking for this for a while, that what can we do as a professional that could help other new students and new upcoming students like you to learn some industry leading technologies, web technologies, and create some projects on your own. And that doesn't need to be a high proficient analytics things or maybe a too complicated task that we give you. Just needs to be simple technologies like the one that we are doing today. So with that, first of all, what mobile web dev is. And if you are more interested in that, I am like totally recommending you to go to our platform, that is mobile-web.dev, and you will be able to see all that information. But to quickly recap, the main purpose of our community is to leverage the importance of mobile web technologies. We sometimes feel that whatever we do, we code and program, we forget about the responsiveness, the quality of apps that we need to create for mobile perspective, especially for web. Our analytics shows that there has been a huge decline in the number of users actually who use native apps, and more content is moving towards web. But web is not ready for mobiles yet, and that is the main reason why we need to force and leverage the importance of mobile web technologies. With that, we actually formed our community and thought we could do meetups, Q&As, webinars, and hackathons, but that couldn't happen because our first meetup was cancelled because of COVID-19. And we didn't demoted ourselves, and still continued on to have discussions like this and conduct weekly courses that are based on some good technologies that you guys can learn, implement in the real life scenarios, and also can interact with new people instead of just sitting idle in home. I know most of you can also do all these things just by going on YouTube or maybe reading some good books and blogs, but those things are kind of boring. I never learned a lot from those things. So that's why I brought this cool idea with my own colleagues at Mobile Web, that let's have a live one-to-one interaction. Let's teach in this manner instead of just releasing it on YouTube. But still, all these things that we are doing here are recorded. So we'll be posting all this information on our YouTube channel, and they are done as soon as possible manner, like within 4 or 5 hours. So you can check out that video, also recommend them to your friends if they want to learn something. And we are a growing community, so we need support from all of you. You can help us by joining us on our social handles, share with your people. Some of you might be very encouraged to do open source things. So Mobile Web welcomes everyone, irrespective of whatever your background is. So you can drop a message on Slack if you're interested. Some of our core member will get back to you, and they will help you out in getting and contributing more. So with that, I am Aman Sharma. Some of you might know me already. I'm not like too much popular right now, but I'm trying to run on this noble cause of leading open source and helping more and more students contributing, getting internships, helping you out in any other possible manner as I can. So I am currently acting as a Chief Technology Officer at Wimbit. Wimbit is a research company, and also I'm lead and founder of this community, Mobile Web Dev. And I regularly post much useful information for students, like internships, courses, and things like that. So if you have any questions, get back to me personally, help me with any suggestions. I am also always happy to learn and involve new things. So about this course, the key takeaways that you can think that you can have from this course is, obviously you will learn some awesome cool technologies that you cannot anywhere else. I'm damn sure about it, because we have just curated many things that I have learned over 4 years in just a course time of 1 week. So imagine this as a trigger that what you can actually do after this is the most exciting and surprising thing for me. After you learn the crux, the basics, then you will be open to explore any new technology. So those are the industry leading technologies that we are going to learn over here. We are going to provide certificates to everyone, but that shouldn't be the motivation. Certificates are a way to show off to your friends, make them jealous. Okay, you did something much more noble than watching Netflix. That's a good thing, but not to get that as the only inspiration. We are going to ensure that the certificates are useful to you. So anytime any of your internship or intern or employer needs any recommendations, we are ready to help you with that, and we'll be giving out certificates on basis of the attendance of people who are attending. So I would recommend to at least attend across all the weeks to be eligible for the certifications. Then third thing is, we give prizes to our top performers. Top performers are determined on the basis of their interaction with our mentors based on your answering of the questions and also based on the assignments that you do. So make sure that you actively participate in all these activities that you are doing. And for the most amazing thing is, you know what, we'll provide you remote internships. We have a network of people who are looking for interns and we are ready to help you with that. So the best performance will actually get a chance to get featured on some of our networked employers and you can get a remote internship. And it's better than at least sitting idle and just playing Call of Duty Warzone at least, right? And last and finally, the thing that I love the most is a chance to make new friends and network with like-minded people. So don't be shy. Go on Slack, just find your old friend or make a new friend and just start communicating on some of new cool ideas, involve a mentor and just have fun around that. And how you can make best out of this course? Obviously, interacting on Slack is the most important thing. Don't abuse anyone, don't harass anyone. I'm like, we are totally against that things and we don't tolerate any kind of nuisance like that. There are females and males both, so we respect both gender. And I don't want any kind of harassment and we'll take strict action against any of these nuisances that are happening. But have a healthy communication, interact with other people, try to ask some questions, have new cool ideas, and maybe binge watch Netflix. We are totally okay with that. Even we are also interested in knowing new TV series that you are watching, maybe sharing our Spotify playlist. So keep doing that. We don't have any problem with that issue. Woohoo. So second is take part in discussions. Whenever we start with a topic, maybe we need help on new open source thing, just hop over and see what you can help us with. And third, don't be shy about asking questions. Nobody is an expert over here. Not even me. I also go to Google sometime, ask my friend Siddhant or other colleague in my Coimbra team to get suggestions. And that's the way how we learn. And you can also keep doing that. Practice at home, nothing to emphasize about. And research on your own. Anything you find that we haven't sent it correctly, you can search and Google it out on your own. Help us correct that. And last but not the least, keep a healthy smile on your face. If you are happy, we are happy. Everybody stays healthy. We survive the lockdown. We learn new things. That's the way to do it. So what we will learn in this course, this is a kind of course outline. So we'll start with the basic of how does hosting works, what is hosting anyways, and what are the different types. Then we'll go on what is local host, static hosting, and different environments. These are all these things that you need to know about the hosting terminologies. Then we'll go into different types of hosting and different things that you can do with them. That include cPanel, file transmission protocol, FTP, SSH, which is a console way of dealing with your server. Then content delivery network or CDNs, how you can set up your own content delivery network and how you can set up your network, configuring your domains, subdomains, all these things. Automatic deploying your website from GitHub to Firebase or Netlify or Heroku, all these things. And finally, hosting on cloud technologies like AWS and DigitalOcean, and also on cloud, Google Cloud and Azure. We won't go too much deep into application development. So we assume that you have already a working project that already is working along on your local host. We'll also tell you about how you can set up your own local host and on your own environment and how you can deploy the same thing on cloud. But we don't expect you to already, know application development and all that, but these are the basics that you should actually know. So the agenda of today's web hosting, like crash course or introduction, as you can say, is to learn what the hell web hosting is. People are bragging about it a lot. I know cloud, I know this and that. So, but what actually it is? So those are the things we are going to learn, guys. There are some cool things or cool terms that you are going to learn today, and you can brag about them on Twitter or maybe with your friends. That's totally fine. I also do that a lot. And we'll also see why you need to learn web hosting at all. Like, I mean, is it too much important or you're going to die hungry if you don't learn web hosting? We are going to see that, obviously. And last and final, that is what are the types of hosting. I'm trying to keep it light today because everybody is in a rush. They are nervous. Okay, what is this web hosting crash course anyway? So I'll keep the things a little bit light, kind of just make it comfortable for you guys, remove the friction and heat that we have right now, and just break the ice and start with just the normal stuff. Once we are, cool with this thing, then we go into much more, nerdy things like hosting, cloud, and all those things. So don't worry about it. We'll do one thing at a time. So let's begin with it. So what a web hosting is, let me go into the definition myself so that I don't speak anything incorrectly. So web hosting, host is a place which keeps you, like whenever your irritating uncle or someone comes, you host them on your home. That is what a web hosting actually does. It hosts your application on a physical space. It's a physical space. Cloud is not actual cloud which keeps us staying. It is a physical server existing, like your own laptop or maybe a mobile. Those are the devices. And if you store any application on this device and then provide a public access, that is called hosting. Hosting can be variety of hosting, video streaming service, content management service, and all these comes together under one thing that is called web. Anything that is accessible on internet, that is called web hosting. Now there is a difference between a normal hosting server which exists in your college maybe, which just helps you with the kind of getting results, or maybe intranet, local internet. That is not actually web hosting. That is intranet local hosting, kind of in a physical environment space, in your local LAN environment. But web hosting is more than that, which deals with public IPs, customizing domain names, all these things. So the basic agenda is you have your application working on your local host, colon 3000, whatever port you are using. And then finally you want this app to publish and you want traffic to be coming on your website. You want it to be working fast and efficient. And that is where, guys, you need to know about web hosting, So you can host different kind of things, which can be your code, it can be your video, it can be your program. I think code and program is the same thing, and the app is also the same thing. So it should be accessible anywhere, anytime. That is the thing that we ensure with web hosting. And with coming years, it has become more and more easy to deploy web hosting apps and all those things. At some point, you actually needed your own physical machine. You need to set up your own server and connect it to the internet, and your website would actually go in that way. But now it is so easy that some of these steps only involve 1 or 2 clicks to deploy your own web app. And we are going to know what are these types and how you can get comfortable with it. But first of all, why you should actually learn web hosting? So first of all, it gives you the confidence to actually develop something on your own. You don't need to depend on anyone who is specialized in web hosting, but you are self-sufficient, that you create something awesome, deploy it somewhere, maybe tag it on Twitter that I created a COVID-19 dashboard, and everybody can come on there. And you know what? Your application is not crashing like other ones, because you are confident and much more proficient in dealing with your application other than other ones. So your application scaled, you got a huge popularity, maybe Google or Microsoft hires you. I don't know, everybody has that kind of dreams, guys, right? Not only me. So those are the things that web hosting is going to help you with. And it is the most demanded part. Now the jobs of backend and front-end engineers are decreasing, and the job of DevOps engineer is increasing day by day. So front-end and back-end developers are also learning and switching from front-end and back-end to DevOps. So DevOps is the practice that actually involves developer operations. That means deploying, managing, and all those things that we deal with, which makes the application actually work on a client side. So that is the part where you need to learn web hosting. And I think it is the most underrated and least talked about kind of thing. You go on Google Cloud or maybe any other webinar, seminar, they teach you about machine learning, container, Docker, Kubernetes, and all those things. But they don't talk about actual thing, how you can actually get your application online. So that is why, guys, we heard you, we know your pain, and we are going to fix it with teaching you what is web hosting. And if you know how to do things, then you can save a lot of money, earn a lot of money. You know how you can actually get free credits from somewhere. Actually, if you are like cool with knowing all the stuff, then actually you don't need to pay anything to any of the server. Most of the things you will find are actually free, and that is the way to do it. Save your money, do some awesome projects, earn out of it, and you can build your own apps better and faster, right? Sometimes you see an application, you see your website, you don't know why it's working slow, because you don't know how to configure and upgrade it from PHP 5.4 to 7.4, or maybe changing the node version, which is the main reason. And you have to call your friend, bro, please help me out. So instead of that, we are trying to become self-sufficient. So most importantly, you have to learn web hosting. But at the same time, I cannot teach everything in 7 days. That is the exact time period. So these will be all triggers for you. And then you have to deep dive yourself. There are lot of technologies which we'll not talk about in this course that are really kind of deep, like Nginx, Apache, things like IAS servers, Plesk, and all those things that are so amazingly kind of working among technologies, but it's not top rated. So that's why we have tried to keep only the most popular technologies on the list and only teach you about those things. So let's begin with what are the different types of web hosting. So there are basically 4 types of web hosting. First one is shared hosting, which is the most popular one. Then you have VPS, which stands for virtual private server. then you have dedicated hosting, and then you have cloud hosting. We'll see about all of these hosting one by one. And let's firstly start with shared hosting, I guess. Okay, sure. Shared hosting allows you to host multiple websites on one server. So basically, when you go on GoDaddy, purchase your new domain, it asks you, okay, let's create a website, or maybe you go with the normal hosting option. That is actually shared hosting, guys. So what shared hosting actually means is that there is a physical server which is dedicated and gives you a application level control, and you can host multiple websites on the same server. And there is a virtual difference between the resources and how they are shared. So a common example to do this is, imagine if you have your own Windows machine and you and your sister are sharing the same laptop. So what you will do actually, you will create two accounts. And can we have shared link of the material? Yeah, absolutely. I will share all these slides with you, and we'll also be posting this on videos. Nice question. We'll do that one. So what I was saying, yeah. So you and your sister are sharing the same system, but you and your sister are very kind of fighting people. Not a cool thing, but still you are, and you don't want to share your own documents and file. What you will do, you will create two accounts, create separate document folder, and keep using the machine like it is just for you, and nobody else can invade your privacy. Exactly like that, you have a shared hosting service. So you have a dedicated server on which you have multiple websites, and every website is given a centralized console, and you can manage an application and do all those things very well. The advantages of this thing is it becomes very cheap and very manageable for those people. In this case, you don't need to know about the technology at all. You just drag your code, copy and paste, and just deploy it on the relevant server. That is all that you have to do with the shared hosting. And this is the most popular and the most cheapest one. Companies like HostGator, A2 Hosting, DreamHost, and many more like GoDaddy and all those provides shared hosting. So anywhere if you see get unlimited hosting for 200 rupees per year, that is a shared hosting, guys. And that is why it is cheaper for them to actually create an unlimited hosting for you. They know that you won't host a complete 100 GB or 1 terabyte of website on a single server, because they have limitation on the bandwidth then. So that's why they give you these false claims like get unlimited hosting, but actually it can't be unlimited anyways. There is no unlimited data, right? There has to be a physical hard disk that is going to host your application. So don't get in those traps. So that is why they say it unlimited hosting, because it's a shared hosting. It's sharing all those resources. So next one is virtual private server. Now I like shared hosting where your directory is shared, and the problem is that if there is someone cool hacker like Harsh, who we don't have right now in our team, he is attending another presentation. But if you have any much more kind of master blaster person, he can actually invade in your directory and can see your files. Like if your brother is like too much sci-fi, so he can break into your privacy. So not a cool option, and they don't guarantee that. And if some of the websites are compromised with something like ransomware or malware, it might get back to another web applications also. So it's cool for normal website, portfolio website, like what you do with GitHub Pages and Netlify. It's a shared hosting again. But it's not good for if you're trying to scale it to a bigger application like your own e-commerce website, or maybe a bigger blog, or maybe a cool Facebook-like application. So for that, what generally people used to use was virtual private server. So what a virtual private server is, actually, you have your own physical server. This is how a normal server looks like, just a container box, nothing fancy. And what it does, it has some kind of logical code which creates isolations of different machines, something like virtualization. If you have used something like what was the name of VirtualBox? Yeah, VMware VirtualBox, something like that. So what it does, actually, it creates an image of the actual thing, the whole PC, in a smaller way, and you can actually log into that and then access it. That is what virtual private server is doing. It is providing you a virtual layer to access the hardware directly. At the same time, you can choose your own knobs, how much RAM you need, how much processing storage you need. And this is the most popular one recently. When you go to AWS, launch your own instance, that is actually a virtual private server getting kicked in. And you can only not get this thing on AWS, but on other hosting service like A2, Bluehost, Kinsta, all these websites are good. They provide you a dedicated thing. So actually it's impossible for one application to share the assets with another. So there is no way that two things can be breached. Only the physical hardware is shared, but everything else is separate. So it is slightly expensive than shared hosting, but it's a good way. So if not shared hosting, then you come to virtual private server. Okay, next one is dedicated server hosting. But sometimes you are too much sneaky about privacy security of your users' data that you don't want, you don't trust any other virtual private server. Like even they can go and plug in a pen drive and get data from it. So that is why what you would do in that case, you will have a dedicated server hosting. So this is the most expensive one because you know why it's most expensive, because it's a full-on dedicated server and racks and cooling and power generator setup just for your website. So too much for just a normal blog won't make a sense. But companies like Facebook and YouTube have their own dedicated server hosting where they cannot rely on this thing, right? For example, maybe police department of New Delhi may have their own dedicated server. They won't trust AWS or like with that. They won't go with cloud providers because of privacy issues maybe. But it's expensive and it's very difficult to maintain and manage. You need to take care about everything literally, like what is the cooling, how the security is performed, what if there is a fire, how do you have to deal with that, how do you take backups, everything that you have to maintain in this thing. But in things like shared hosting and virtual private server, this is just like clicks away and then you can do those things. So is there any better solution to that? And it is. So that is actually called cloud hosting. It is the combination of all these three things, the better things about all these three things combined together. So it is as same as having virtual machines like we saw in virtual private server. So cloud hosting is more or less same like virtual private server, but it actually differentiates itself is how it works. So cloud hosting leverages a thing called containerization. So if you guys have heard of something like Kubernetes or Docker lately, that is actually what actually cloud does. So when you host a new application, you choose your own virtual server. This is the first thing that you do, exactly same like virtual private server. But then things change. You actually deploy your application like a container where you specify how much RAM it needs, how much things it needs. And then you deploy it on different virtual servers which are divided, and every container has a different responsibility to do. So virtual private server is amazing, but it is hard to scale. But at the same time, cloud hosting is very easy to scale up. A container has all the information that it needs in order to scale this application from one. So maybe if your web hosting is right now running on one virtual server, you can easily replicate that container and copy this application into multiple ones. That is what Netflix, Spotify, all these services are doing, which say that we are on cloud. That is what actually cloud means. It is the combination of virtual private server with containers so that it's easy to scale your web application whenever you want it. And then when you don't want it, you can reduce back it to normal, which is not possible with virtual private server because you cannot just quickly do that. So with cloud hosting, you can easily scale up and scale down. And then you can have bunch of multiple application running on a single virtual private server, which is in a containerized format to make best use of efficiency, make things much more manageable and all that. So cloud hosting lately has been the biggest innovation, I think, for the 21st century. And so cloud hosting is, I think, booming right now, and there is nothing to be scared about. What you actually need to know is just the console of how a cloud service works. So I think in the second last or the last day of our courses, we'll talk about AWS, DigitalOcean, and Azure and Google Cloud. These are all the cloud providers that work on the same terminologies, and we'll show you how it is easy to deploy any of your application on these container services. So with that, we are on the end of our today's session. We covered about what is hosting, why you should learn it, what are the basic principles that are underlying on hosting, what are the different types of hosting, what is the difference between these hosting, what are the advantages and disadvantages. So now you can automatically decide if for your next application, what is the way to go for it. Now, most of the people, when they decide web hosting, thinks too much about scalability. Guys, in my career, I have never seen a single application scaling from 1 to 1,000 users in a single day. And that is the amount of time you need actually to migrate your service from one server to another. So whenever you are creating any web application for next time, don't think about scalability. Just think about serving it to first 100 people. If 100 people are satisfied with it, then think of 1,000 people. If they are satisfied with it, then go to 1 lakh and then to 1 million. Don't scale for 1 million users directly. It is very expensive, very time taking, and very non-efficient procedure of doing that. As soon as you have increasing users, always put an analytics cap and you can see, okay, you might get 1,000 users tomorrow. Then you have enough time. It doesn't take more than, I think, 2 or 3 hours to set up a cloud service and copy your application. So there is nothing to worry about. Never think about scalability too much. Just think about taking care of the first users and then you're ready to go. So that's a small tip.